You know how they say that reading books and buying books are two entirely separate hobbies? Well, I would like to officially nominate a third entirely separate hobby to join the two, which is talking about books on the internet, book content creating. For me, I feel very lucky that I get to do all three. I get to buy books, read them, and talk about them on the internet. But just like a hobby that kind of ebbs and flows in its priority list, I do sometimes feel like content creation can take a back seat because it really is a lot of hard work to film and edit and post. The editing, especially. I feel like the editing is the main reason that I don't post a lot more regularly because I can yap about books all day long. It's the tech part, the editing, that really keeps me. I'm sure a lot of book content creators can relate to this, or content creators in any niche. It can be a lot of work, but a lot of fun and really creatively rewarding as well. I just edited and posted my last video, which admittedly was filmed like 3 weeks ago, but it is posted now. And boy, oh boy, do I feel like I have some updates for you guys. I have 3 book bowl books to tell you guys about, general life updates and travel. And of course, I need to choose the next book for the book bowl challenge. So I hope you have a cozy beverage. I have a raspberry hibiscus tea. Grab your tea, your wine. Let's get comfy and get into it. I have 3 books to catch you guys up on, and we all know that I like to yap about books. So this will be a special challenge for me. I'm going to try and review each book in 60 seconds or less. Let's start with Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. When I pulled this book out of the book bowl, I thought that I hadn't read it before, but I was completely wrong. As I was reading it, I realized, yep, I've definitely read this book. What I liked about this book, I liked that it was very short, it was very concise. For a classic, it was surprisingly non-technical, meaning that it was pretty easy to digest and easy to read. I also liked how emotional it was. What I didn't like about this book, how emotional it was. And I know that was a pro as well, but it can also be a con, and I will take no further questions. Overall, Hemingway did a fantastic job of drawing forth this feeling. Unfortunately, the feeling that it wasn't that enjoyable to have that feeling. It was depressing, but not in the way where you want to full out sob while reading it, more in the way where you feel like everything is going wrong in your life, but you are so numb to everything going wrong that you just sort of bear it. But I think it is worth reading. I would really love to hear from you if you read this book and if you had the same sort of emotional takeaway that I did. But let's move on. I have 2 other 60-second book reviews to do. Next up is Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh was such an interesting draw from the book bowl because I grew up with these stories, but I don't have in my memory ever like sitting down and reading the book from cover to cover. So that was a really great experience. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I was actually in tears reading this book, and not in the same emotional way that I was reading The Old Man and the Sea, which was more of like a numb kind of stoic depression. This one was more of like a cuteness, aggression type, which is full on sobbing because of the friendship and the emotions, and the stories were just so cute. If you're familiar with the stories, the one that really got me was the Eeyore birthday story where they kind of forget his birthday and at the last minute they're trying to come up with gifts for him. And I was just on the couch in absolute tears. Overall, I was really surprised at how this sort of older story for kids really holds up with the messages that it's sending and the sweetness of the stories. And if you've never read it from cover to cover, it is a must read. The last book to review in 60 seconds is All That She Carried by Tiya Miles. Y'all, this book was a sleeper gem in the book bowl. This book got me. If you're sitting there and you've never heard of this book, totally fine. I had never heard of it either before I pulled it out of the book bowl, but this book was so good. Long story short, what this book is about is a very real artifact that was found, and it was a textile sack that was embroidered. And it turns out this sack was a heirloom passed down from a slave woman to her daughter, and they were getting separated and sold. The author, Tiya Miles, is doing this discovery to figure out who these women could have been, what their stories were, analyzing the contents of the sack, analyzing the textiles itself. It was so beautifully written. What I thought was going to be this just kind of historical nonfiction book ended up being such a journey of discovery and history and talking about heritage that gets passed down from women. It was really beautiful. Whew, that is 3 book reviews in 3-ish minutes. Before we draw the next book for the book bowl challenge, I do want to just have a very fun intermission here and do a book haul, which I didn't think this through at all. This bag is really heavy. I have so many books in here that it is literally spilling out the top. And of course, this is one of the books, so you've already been spoiled on one of them, but I want to go through all the books that I've recently purchased, some of these during my travels. Let's do the biggest book haul I've ever done. So the book haul and the travels go hand in hand, so let me catch you up. The first trip I did was a little long weekend to Phoenix, Arizona to see a very dear friend of mine. She is also a content creator. She does baking, these absolutely funny and hilarious baking videos that are also super educational based on the Great British Baking Show, Great British Bake Off. Is that different? Are they the same? Whichever one it is, she's going to kill me because I've never seen that show, but that's what her content is based on, and so much fun. She made me wear a wig to be in one of her videos. So I feel a little bad. I was going to do some content while I was down there. I didn't buy any books in Phoenix, but I did read while I was there. So I was in Phoenix when I finished reading The Old Man and the Sea, and I was sitting on her couch when I was sobbing about Eeyore and his birthday. I had only been home from Arizona a couple of days when we went on our next trip, which was New York City. It was so much fun. In fact, this was our second time to New York City this year alone, but we went with a couple of friends of ours and we had the best time. We stopped at the New York Public Library, which was fantastic. We saw a bunch of amazing exhibits, Winnie the Pooh, of course, and they have a bunch of really cool artifacts and like original sketches. It's just so much fun. If you're in New York City, you have to stop at the New York Public Library. You absolutely cannot pass up on the opportunity to go to Strand Bookstore. So Peter and I did end up with a couple of books from Strand, but only a couple, and they're very small because we were, packed pretty tightly for this trip and didn't have a ton of rooms in our bags. So 2 books, and I think that you'll find that they're very similar. First up is The Guest Cat. This is actually a book that I think Peter and I were exposed to this book from one of you guys commented this book under one of my videos saying that they thought I would like it. And actually, Peter sort of ran with that recommendation, and we've been looking for this book ever since. Our library did not have it, so it has been kind of a fun scavenger hunt and challenge that anytime we went to a bookstore, we would look for this book. And along the same lines as The Guest Cat, the second book we got at Strand is If Cats Disappeared from the World. This was an unplanned pickup for me. It is a bestseller. I had seen it on several shelves at Strand. They even had like a little employee recommendation for this book. I had not heard of it before, but I had seen the cover in places. We ended up with these 2 matching books for each other. So that is Strand. Our next trip after New York City is we went to Portland, Oregon, which that won't surprise some of you. I'm sure you saw from the bag. You recognize the bag. This was my second time in Portland, and Peter's been there several times. So, of course, we already knew about Powell's, and we knew that we had to go back, of course. The actual reason we were in Portland, though, is we were watching the Kansas City Current take on the Portland Thorns for women's soccer, and it was so much fun. Of course, the KC Current came away with a win. The Thorns made it very tough on us, though. But I do have to say, Providence Park was just a phenomenal venue. Everyone was really friendly. We had just such a great time in Portland. But a big part of that was Powell's book shopping, which is responsible for a really good chunk of this book haul. So here's what we bought from Powell's. Peter has a new type. After the 2 cozy cat books from New York City, we are sticking on the theme. We'll prescribe you a cat. I also heard that there's a second one. We'll prescribe you a second cat, something like that. So we'll have to see. This is his new type of book. And honestly, I think I'll probably read it after he's done. Sliding from the bottom, going slightly out of order here. Does it shock you? He ended up with another cozy cat book. This one is The Curious Kitten at the Chibineko Kitchen. This is our new favorite subgenre, cozy cat books. Let me know if you have any other cozy cat book recommendations, because this sounds like the newest thing that we're into. Peter for sure, but also me. Next up, Janelle Monáe, The Memory Librarian and Other Stories of Dirty Computer. Janelle Monáe is from Kansas City. She has this incredible album, Dirty Computer, which I love that album. And for some reason, I had no idea that she wrote a book. Janelle has such a fun and an incredible creative personality, so I'm really excited to see her take on this format of art. Let me know if you've read it, because I'm very intrigued. Right. Next up is a book that when I finished reading Fun Home, which was a graphic novel, this was maybe the #1 recommended graphic novel that people said that I should check out after reading Fun Home. To no one's surprise, Mouse. This one, I believe, is, yes, it's the complete. So it has both Mouse 1 and 2. Hardcover, it's got some weight to it. Mouse is not in the book bowl, but enough of you guys recommended it that honestly, I get peer pressured into buying books. So this one's really on you guys. Next up, I know you guys saw these sprayed edges, and some of you will already know what this book is. Count the rings on this sprayed edge. Just real quick, count them. If you counted 7, you're right. This is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Taylor Jenkins Reid is going to be here in Kansas City. I'm really hoping I can get her to sign it. I love this book. It's one of my favorites. I actually really want to peer pressure Peter into reading it just to see what he thinks. But what a fun story. I just live for the drama of this one. I love it. I made my mom read this book. She liked it, but she was sort of mad at me because of the ending. If you know, you know. Next up, we won't get too into detail. I bought All That She Carried while I was in Portland. I had already started reading this book on Kindle before I bought it. And I'll be honest, it was a little bit of a slow starter for me on Kindle, reading it on the plane. I was having a little bit of a hard time getting into it. And I found one single copy at Powell's. So I picked it up. When I started reading it in physical form, I got so engrossed in this book. I don't know what it was about changing it, the format, but I'm really, really, really glad that I found a physical copy of it. And the fact that I ended up loving it so much, I'm really happy to own it, so I can mark it up and come back to this book. I know for sure that I'll be coming back to this book. Oh, shoot. One more cozy cat book. Cat people, please tell me that we are not alone in our love of cozy cat books. All right, so this is already a pretty decent book haul, but what if I told you I have no self-control and I'm not quite done? I get my hair done in Lawrence, Kansas, and it's probably good that I don't live there anymore because one of my favorite places in Lawrence is the Lawrence Public Library. It's a fantastic library, but one of the best things about it is they have a little $1, $2 bookshop right in the front entryway. So anytime I'm in town getting my hair done, I always stop at the library to see what they have. Now, sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes I only find like one or maybe don't find anything that I'm really interested in buying. But this time I stopped in and it was just book after book after book of just absolute gems. And some were signed copies. You guys, this entire stack of books was $10. $10. Let me show you what I got. Not in the book bowl. Winter Street. I don't know anything about this book. The only thing that drew me to it was the author. My hairdresser really likes this author, so I thought I would give her a try. This one is in the book bowl. You guys will recognize it. Watership Down. Next up, The Sentence, which is this in the book bowl? Okay, this one is not in the book bowl, but 2 other books by her are in the book bowl. The Night Watchman and love medicine. So I'm definitely guilty of recognizing an author name and just immediately gravitating towards a book. So we'll see. Let me know if you've read this one. And bonus, hopefully that shows for you guys, it's a signed copy. $1, you guys. I'm obsessed. Next up, The Rosie Project, which I'll double check. I'm like pretty sure this is in the book bowl. Sometimes I recognize titles and I think, is it in the book bowl or have I just seen it a lot on social media? Where have I heard this name before? Nine times out of 10, I can tell you if a book's in the book bowl, but sometimes they slip by me. Yes, this one is in the book bowl. And it is another autographed copy. I know you guys are going to recognize this one. All the Light We Cannot See, Anthony Doerr, which I have. I think you can kind of see it blurry in the background. I have Cloud Cuckoo Land by him already. They're both in the book bowl, so now I have both of them. Another book bowl book, Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison. A Room with a View. This is another book bowl book. It's a classic. I've never read it, so I'm really excited for this one to get drawn, and now I own it. And lastly, this book is not in the book bowl, but this is another instance where the author is in the book bowl, but this particular book is not. It is Zadie Smith. White Teeth by Zadie Smith is in the book bowl. I had not heard of this one. It's Changing My Mind, Occasional Essays, but I figure if she is a book bowl author, what could go wrong? All right, so this is my Lawrence book haul. And this one's so heavy. This is my New York and Portland book haul. So how many new books did I end up with in the last month? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 new books. This is what they don't tell you or warn you about when you buy new bookshelves, is that you start feeling the itch to fill those bookshelves to the absolute brim. Sorry if you noticed slightly different lighting here. My phone died after the last segment, and then while my phone was charging, I decided to make dinner, eat dinner, and kind of dilly-dally a little bit, and now it's night. So I'm wrapping up this video. I do have a couple of really exciting life updates, and then of course, one thing that I want to do before bed tonight is draw the next book for the Book Bowl Challenge. Life updates first, travel updates. You guys know I love to travel, so a couple of cities that I'm hitting up. In a couple weeks, we're headed to Washington, D.C. to visit family. I'm very excited. I don't have any bookstores or libraries slated yet for this trip, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know. Then at the end of the year, around the holidays, Peter and I are taking a massive Europe trip. We are spending, I think, about 2 full weeks in Munich, 3 cities in Belgium, Brussels, Bruges, and Ghent. And then the last place we're going is we're spending a decent chunk of this trip in Amsterdam, including over Christmas. So I'm very excited for that. We have our accommodations all set, but I am still looking for all the recommendations, and not just book recommendations, but like places to eat, things to do, museums, must-sees, all of your best recommendations. Please send them my way. I am literally so excited for this trip. I can't wait. Outside of travels, just other life updates, I feel like October is going to be huge. First of all, Taylor Swift new album. Second, I get to see Chappell Roan live, basically in my backyard. I can walk to the venue from here. I'm so excited. I can't believe she's coming to Kansas City. It's going to be a blast. And then third, more bookish related, the Heartland Book Fest here in Kansas City. Not only am I attending, and I love the authors that are going to be here, but I am also sitting on a panel for the Heartland Book Fest. So I get to talk about this, about books, about the process of talking about books on the internet and what is being a book influencer and how the internet has changed book marketing. I am so excited for this panel. It should be really interesting and fascinating. Outside of that, we've just been enjoying summer here in Kansas City. We've been enjoying Kansas City Current games, which is a lot of fun because they are such a good team. But honestly, it's just such a great vibe to be at the stadium and enjoying something like that. It's been so perfect. The other things that I'm into that keep me away from books and book content creation, I am obsessed with Pikmin Bloom. Peter and I are playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild together, which is a lot of fun. And Hollow Knight sequel, Silk Song, just came out a bit ago. And I was obsessed with Hollow Knight, so I have been playing Silk Song. Haven't got a ton of time in it yet. Got a lot going on, but I'm really looking forward to getting some more time with that game because it's just such a well done game. Also, I've been practicando mi español. Quiero leer un libro en español, quizás un libro sencillo para niños. Maybe like Where the Wild Things Are, or one of the other kids' books that are in the book bowl. That would be really fun to read in Spanish and get some good practice in. Speaking of niños, the other fun thing starting up soon is I will be beginning my second year as a volunteer with this organization here in Kansas City called Lead to Read. And it is an organization that is committed to literacy in Kansas City schools, that especially these kids really need some extra help. It's so much fun and it's so rewarding. The girl I got paired up with last year was such a sweet girl, and she really struggled with reading in the beginning, but by the end, she was so excited. She was obsessed with this book series called Pinkalicious. If you have kids, let me know if you've heard of this. There's so many Pinkalicious. It kind of reminds me of like the Junie B. Jones of my childhood. I think maybe Pinkalicious is kind of for this new generation of elementary school kids. But there were several really fun Pinkalicious books that we got to read together, and she would get so excited about reading it by the end. It's been a busy summer, and it's shaping up to be a very busy fall as well, and then plus our travels in the winter. So I just feel really positive and optimistic about how this year has gone and what this year has yet to hold. Okay, we hit on a lot. I rambled a lot. I yapped a lot. That's to be expected. But I think it's fair to say it is time to move forward. The very next video you see, I will be pulling the next book from the book bowl, book number 48.